A component analysis is the process you use to analyze a value scenario before reaching a compliance decision. The purpose of the analysis is to identify, evaluate, and classify the relevant components of the interaction. It helps you work through the facts in a logical order without being distracted by details that do not affect the regulatory outcome. The process consists of 4 stages. Stage 1 is to disregard irrelevant detail. A value scenario may contain names, job titles, relationships, locations, or background facts or mediums that do not affect the legal classification. You must set these details aside so that you can focus on the facts that are relevant. This does not mean that you ignore facts without considering them. You first decide whether the fact is relevant. You disregard it only when it does not affect the identification, evaluation, or classification of the component. Stage 2 is to identify the components. You identify the 4 juristic components present in the value scenario. The value provider is the person providing the value. The value function is the economic function that's being performed, the action. The value aspect is the relevant value, the product or service. The value recipient is the person for whom the action is performed. At this stage, you are only identifying the components. You are not yet deciding how they must be legally classified. Stage 3 is to evaluate the components. You examine each identified component carefully and compare it with the facts of the complete value scenario. You consider who the value provider really is, what value function was actually performed, which value aspect was involved, and who received the function. The components must be evaluated together because no single component determines the regulatory outcome. Stage 4 is to classify the components. You compare the evaluated components with the definitions contained in the applicable legislation. You then assign each component to the correct legal or regulatory category. Classification determines how the complete value scenario must be treated and which regulatory requirements must be considered. The 4 stages must be completed in order. First, disregard irrelevant detail, then identify the components, next evaluate the components, and finally classify the components. Each stage depends on the accuracy of the stage before. If you identify a component incorrectly, the evaluation may be incorrect. If the evaluation is incorrect, the classification and the resulting compliance decision may also be incorrect. You should therefore complete each stage before moving to the next stage. Only after the components have been correctly classified should you reach the compliance decision. Let's begin with the first step in the component analysis. Disregard irrelevant detail. An irrelevant detail is a fact that you must legally not consider when making the compliance consideration. It may be irrelevant because the legal notion does not require it or because the law specifically tells you to disregard it. Details such as timing, the communication medium, or person's designation may be irrelevant. However, this always depends on the legal notion and stipulation being tested. Exam questions often include extra facts to distract you. If you include those facts in your reasoning, you may reach the wrong conclusion. My practical exam tip is to take a black pen with you. When you identify a detail that must not be considered, strike it out. This helps your brain focus only on the relevant components. Remember, strike it out, leave it out, and base your conclusion only on the relevant facts. Before you classify a relation, you need to know which details in the value scenario actually matter. Start by reading the complete scenario and removing any irrelevant details. You are looking for 5 analytical components. Each component provides the info needed to determine the particular primary class. First, identify the recipient or purchaser nature. Look for info showing whether the purchaser delegates control over the acquisition or distribution to another party. This determines the market class. Second, identify the business role. Ask in which role the business acts within this particular scenario. This determines the distribution class. Thirdly, identify the product details. Focus on the product involved and when the exchanges happens. This determines the value class. Fourth, identify the business activity. Look at the nature of the function performed by the business. This determines the function class. Finally, identify the purchaser input. Consider the purchaser's position and the input provided within the value scenario. This determines the nature of the marketing function. These components must work together. You cannot classify the relation by focusing on only one detail, such as the product or the business name. The process is therefore simple. Begin with the value scenario, remove irrelevant details, identify the 5 analytical components, and use them to determine the relevant primary classes. Once these classes are known, you have the structured info needed to classify the relation correctly. Once you have identified the analytical components in a value scenario, the next stage is to evaluate each component. A decision tree gives you a structured method for completing this evaluation. It takes you through a series of decision questions, which each answer determining the next question or step in the analysis. As you follow the branches, the answer progressively guides you towards an evaluation outcome. Remember that evaluation and classification are separate stages. During evaluation, you use the decision question to establish the legal nature of the identified component. You classify the component only after the decision tree has produced the relevant evaluation outcome. This is an important skill for the regulatory exam because you must be able to analyze a value scenario, evaluate its components, and assign each component to the correct legal category. To use a decision tree, follow 5 steps. Start with the first question. Second, answer the question using only the relevant details from the value scenario. Do not allow irrelevant background facts to influence your answer. Third, follow the branch indicated by your answer. If the answer is yes, follow the yes branch. If the answer is no, follow the no branch. Fourth, continue answering the decision questions until the decision tree produces an evaluation outcome. Fifth, use that evaluation outcome to classify the component. The sequence is therefore question, answer, branch, evaluation outcome, and classification. When you first begin using a decision tree, the process may feel slow. This is normal. As you practice, you will begin to recognize recurring facts and legal patterns. Many evaluation outcomes and classifications will then just become intuitive. However, intuition should not replace the decision tree when you are uncertain. If you are unsure about the correct evaluation or classification, return to the first relevant decision question and work through the branches again. The decision tree gives you a reliable way to test your reasoning and reach a consistent classification. Learners who use this method develop stronger compliance thinking and are generally better able to apply legal notions in regulatory exam scenarios. You may also use alternative wording for decision question if the original wording is difficult to understand. Once you have disregarded the irrelevant detail and identified and evaluated the relevant components, you are ready to classify the interaction. Classification is based on the nature of the function and the relations created through that function. There are 4 primary classes. Market class can be traditional, discretionary, or custodian. The distribution class may be direct, retail, or broker. The value class may be spot, financial, or credit. The function class may be valuating, marketing, or mediating. You do not simply choose a class. Your evaluation outcome determines it. The recipient or purchaser nature determines the market class. The business role determines the distribution class. The product details determines the value class, and the business activity determines the function class. Where the activity is marketing, purchaser input helps you determine the nature of what that marketing function. The important point is the sequence. Do not classify the interaction too early. First, disregard irrelevant detail, then identify and evaluate the relevant components. Only after completing those steps should you classify the interaction. Remember, analyze first and classify last.